Alrighty, this is video 5 in our series, adding content to your pages. So as you can see right here, I've got a bunch of pages, so my home page and then my 3 subject pages that I have no content on right now. I just have a skeleton of my website. I need to put some meat on the bones, so to speak. So how do I go about doing that? I click this little edit page button, pencil, and it will edit the page I currently have open, which is the home page. All right. Typing on the page is very simple. Welcome to class. Okay, you can highlight and you can center text. You can make text bold. You can make text bigger. All the same way you can in any word processor. You can change the font color. Okay. Don't change the highlighting or the text background color unless you really, really want to, because it's a little bit harder to get rid of. All right. Now I want to add an image to my page. I simply go up here to Insert and say Image. I can then upload an image from my drive if I already have one, or if I know the address of the page, the image, I can put it in here. The problem with using the web address URL is that if that person takes that image down, you lose it from your page. So it's much better to always upload an image and then go to your F drive or where have you to find a picture that you want to upload into there. So images, and I'll choose a scuba image. There we go. All right, so I can upload an image to my website, and this one happens to be identifying coral, and there it is. It's on in the Pacific too. So I've got my image on there. You can link that image to something else so that when people click on it, it takes them somewhere else, or you can remove the link so it's just an image that they can't click on. Okay, you can make the image small. You can make it medium, large. 100% means it'll fill the whole section that you currently have it in, and original means it'll bring it to its original resolution. Sometimes original is bigger than 100%, sometimes it is smaller. So you can fiddle with that. The catch is this: if medium isn't big enough and large is too big, how do you go between those two? Or if large isn't big enough but 100% is too big, how do you go between those? The answer is you can't do it the same way you did in Microsoft. You can't click on the picture and drag from the corner. The only way to do it is fairly complicated. You have to click this HTML button and you literally have to go in and edit the code. It sounds a lot more daunting than it is. You can see right here is the line where it talks about that coral image. On it, it has a width and a height. All I really have to do is, keeping them proportional, I need to change these numbers. You don't have to make them proportional, but then it will distort the image. So say I want this one to be 482. I doubled its, 482 would be 564. Would be doubling that image. If my math is wrong, please, math teachers, don't call me. And then height, I'm doubling it to 800. So when I update it, it makes the picture a custom size. So that's the only way to create a custom size picture once you've already inserted it. You certainly could go into a photo editing program, edit the picture before you upload it into your Google site. That would work also. So I'm going to make this centered. All right, so I've got an image in there, and then I can continue typing text down here below it if I wanted to. I'm going to take that out real quick just so you can see how to delete something off of your page, but also so that I can just keep showing you the new content that we want to add, the different types of content. So I'm going to click on it, and then it brings up this little toolbar, and I'm going to click this X. Remember, if this toolbar does not pop up, you may have to close out of Chrome and come all the way back in. All right, so I'm back here to my home screen where I can add more content. All right, you do have, obviously, inserting tables, so if you want to organize things by a grid by 3 by 3, you can do that. And then you can stretch the table. And unfortunately, the only way to do it is by clicking in the individual cells. So if I click in that one cell and then stretch it, then I come over here and click on this one and stretch it. And then I go in here and click on this one and stretch it. So it takes a little finesse to get them the way you want them to appear on the page. And that's just an idiosyncrasy that you're going to have to live with. So name, email, phone number. Okay, works really good if you're doing an actual table. But if I'm putting images in here to put in a grid, and I don't want this table to show up, then I have another additional problem. So what I'm going to do is real quickly upload that. Actually, I'll just pick one of these, and then I'll put another one right next to it. All right, so I have these images in this table, and I don't want the table to show up. I don't want the borders around the table to show up when people see this. I want these just to be floating on the page. How do I go about doing that? Well, unfortunately, there is no easy way to do that either. You have to come up here and click on HTML. You have to come in and find where it talks about the table border, and you'll see it in here somewhere. So here, table border 1, border color, border style, you see that, border width. So I'm going to change this border width to 0, and I'm going to change this table border to 0. So that line right here is the line that sets the standards for the table. I click update, and notice the boxes are still there, but the lines have disappeared. Okay, so you can edit the table to get rid of that content. To delete a table, I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, hit delete, and then the table is gone. Okay, so that's adding and editing a table. All right, all those are pretty standard features. I'm going to show you a couple things that are somewhat unique to Google now. One is this layout. I can break up this pane over here into multiple layouts. So say I want welcome to the class going across the whole top, but then I want 2 columns after that. The correct choice would be this one where I have a separate header, 2 columns, and then a separate footer. So then I can take this here, move it back up here into this box here, and center it again. Oops. For some reason it's not letting me center it, so I'm going to just take it out completely, retype it, and then just make it bigger. So you can, using that layout tab up here, choose how your content will be arranged in this content pane. Now, this choice you're making here only applies to the current page you're on. If I switch from my home page after I save it to my math page, you'll notice that my math page, when I click edit, is still in the default 1-column layout. Okay, so you can quickly have every page have a little bit different look to it. And now I'm back into here, and I'm going to add some content over here. All right. One of the really cool things about Google Sites is how quickly you can integrate other Google materials into your website. So if I have a document in my Google Drive that I want to put right here in my page, I can do that. I'm going to throw myself back into single column layout, and notice you can easily switch between them at any time. And then I'm going to insert Drive document. It brings up my Google Drive. It does, however, bring it up in a weird format. It does it by last modified rather than by name. So what I do is I quickly switch it back to name, and then you'll notice it still has an odd format because it brings up every subfolder and folder in your Drive all in one big plop. It doesn't separate them out, okay? And that's a little bit of an issue too. So you need to use these tabs up here. And if you come down here to More and Folders, it'll take you to where you can see all the folders in your Google Drive. And again, last modified. All right. And then this puts them in order. But again, it does all of your folders and subfolders. It doesn't pull from any, it doesn't pull the way you have them organized in your Drive. So that's a bit of an issue to some degree too. So how is it easy to find things in here? The last modified works if you just went into your Drive and made a change to it, it'll pop up in the first order. If not, the best way to go about doing it is simply to type in the name of the file that you're looking for, and then it'll bring up a bunch of the different ones that you have, and you can select the one that you want to use. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to put this into my page. I'm going to center it. Notice I can't see the document right now, but as soon as I click Save, that document becomes embedded in my web page. Okay, and you can see I can scroll up and down through it. There's a little link to open it right up in Google Docs. Okay, and these are all Google Docs, not Word, PowerPoint. These are Google Docs files. Okay, here's the really cool thing. If I go into this actual exit card in my Google Drive and make a change to it, then as soon as I refresh that web page, that change is going to be there, which means you no longer have to change the file and then change the website. You only need to change one, and it automatically is reflected in the other. So I'm going to add a second question mark here. Hopefully I picked the right exit card file too, because that would be embarrassing. All right, so I just close that file out. I come back over here to the page I am editing. I hit the refresh button on my keyboard, and I did not choose the right exit card. Okay, so let me do it this way. Okay, so I've changed the exit card. And now when I refresh the web page automatically shows those changes. So it's really nice is when you have files in your drive and you've arranged them on your website, as soon as you make changes to those drive files, it changes on your website. You can also, too, by the way, insert an entire folder. So rather than doing that on here, I'm going to just show you an example of it on my Shen Track website. So when you go to our resources page on our Shen Track website, I have this top tips help cards here. This is a folder on my Google Drive right here. Whenever I add a new file to this folder, it automatically appears on the website. So you can make a whole drive worth of files appear for your users on your website. There is a catch, however. In order for this folder or that document I previously inserted to be viewable on the website by people, they have to have access to it. So I had to come over here in my Google Drive, and I had to make that folder where all those resources are available, this folder right here, I had to make this folder available to everyone on the internet can find and view it with a link. Okay, so if you set that to everyone can view it, and then you put it on your website like this, every file in that folder will be viewable by people on the internet. Anytime you add a file, it'll be viewable. So teachers use it to put their whole curriculum online on their website very quickly, because they are just maintaining the folders in their Google Drive, and as they add things, they automatically appear updated on the website. As you change things, they automatically get changed on the website. Okay, so that's one of the really neat features of Google, is that you can very quickly add this content. Okay, I don't want this lesson to go on too long, so I am going to add another lesson. I said this was the last one, but I do want to talk to you about adding calendars, so we're going to do that in lesson 6.